The ancient grandfather clock's persistent ticking echoed through the living room, each sound marking time toward an inevitable revelation I dreaded facing. The harsh Denver winter winds whistled through the doorframe, sending shivers down my spine. Here I was, Jasper Callahan, sitting still in the darkness of my home office, my features cast in an eerie blue glow from the computer monitor. My marriage, once solid as bedrock, had started showing hairline fractures, barely noticeable at first, like spider webs across pristine glass. That mysterious light from the garage at midnight, was it signaling the end of everything I'd believed in, threatening to expose depths I'd never wanted to explore? Before we delve into this compelling narrative, drop a comment telling us your location. Don't forget to subscribe if this story captures your interest, and join us as we uncover this mystery together. As a 38-year-old software engineer, I'd built a peaceful existence in Denver, Colorado. Serena, my wife, had always been our home's foundation, its steady pulse. But recently, something had shifted. She'd disappear after dark, citing urgent cases at her downtown law practice. The signs multiplied: secretive phone conversations, password-protected devices, unusual financial transactions, accumulating like thunderclouds before a storm. Then came that pivotal evening. As midnight approached, I noticed a faint illumination seeping from the garage windows. Following my instincts, I ventured outside. There stood Serena, crouched over my desk in the darkness, sifting through my confidential documents. Her figure moved deliberately, illuminated by her flashlight's beam. My heart clenched. This wasn't the woman who'd shared my life for 12 years. She'd become an enigma, shrouded in shadows that concealed truths I feared discovering. The image of Serena in the garage that night haunted me as I sat in our silent Denver residence. Our journey began 12 years earlier at a San Francisco tech conference. While I was an introverted software engineer absorbed in coding in a quiet corner, Serena entered like a force of nature, a brilliant legal advisor for tech startups. Her self-assurance was magnetic, her speech precise and compelling, her drive irresistible. We connected over midnight discussions about technological advancement and entrepreneurial challenges, two kindred spirits focused on creating something meaningful. Within a year, we exchanged vows, chose Denver as our home, and built a life centered on careers rather than children. Our Highlands neighborhood house operated smoothly like perfectly written code, until 4 months ago, when uncertainty crept in like an impenetrable mist. Serena's late-night absences became more frequent, her explanations accumulating like overdue invoices. She insisted her law firm required her presence for crucial cases, deals that demanded immediate attention. I accepted her words, believing in her, but the fissures in our relationship deepened. Her smartphone remained perpetually secured, its darkened display mirroring my mounting concerns. Phone calls arrived at irregular hours, her voice descending to whispers as she retreated to the backyard, the sliding glass doors sealing behind her. I caught snippets of conversations, urgent undertones, but never sufficient to complete the mysterious picture. Then the financial irregularities began. During one sleepless night, I accessed our shared bank account, examining the transaction history. Regular cash withdrawals caught my attention. $800 here, $1,200 there, strategically kept beneath the bank's notification limit. My heart raced. When confronted, Serena dismissed it casually, claiming the cash covered client dinners, her practiced smile betraying uncertainty. One day, while organizing mail on our kitchen counter, I discovered a wrinkled receipt from a Boulder jewelry store, requiring a 45-minute drive north. The purchase price stretched into 4 figures, perhaps for a necklace or timepiece. Yet no new jewelry adorned Serena's person. Anxiety gripped me. I silently pocketed the receipt, maintaining my composure. Shortly after, I noticed an unfamiliar leather coat in her wardrobe, from an exclusive boutique I'd never encountered, price tag still attached. She wore it once before it mysteriously disappeared, as if concealed intentionally. Our home atmosphere shifted, its walls harboring undisclosed secrets. Nocturnal sounds began rousing me. Staircase creaks, drawers closing softly. One evening, I descended barefoot on cold hardwood floors, witnessing her silhouette vanishing into the garage again. This time, darkness alone greeted her, swallowing her presence, as the door sealed shut. Past memories portrayed her as my equal partner, but these mysterious behaviors suggested an alternate narrative. Her father, a retired legal professional, once proudly mentioned her talent for navigating gray areas without crossing lines. I'd previously admired this trait, but now it seemed weaponized against me. My own past experiences surfaced. Grandpa, a former bank employee scarred by the 1987 market crash, had instilled financial vigilance in me, his voice carrying hard-learned wisdom. Maintain personal reserves, he'd advised, leading me to establish a private savings account unknown to Serena. Until now, perhaps. The garage incident wasn't isolated. It formed part of an intricate pattern I'd failed to recognize. Every withdrawal, secretive call, and hidden purchase created a complex web, leaving me at its periphery, staring into uncertainty. Something significant lurked beneath, something she protected with calculated precision. I needed concrete evidence, not mere suspicions, and this necessity weighed heavily upon me. The garage shadows enveloped me as I confronted another unsettled morning in our Denver residence. At the kitchen table, my coffee grew cold in my hands while my mind wrestled with Serena's nighttime activities. Though her concealed calls and mysterious purchases had already created distance between us, I needed concrete proof before taking action. The opportunity presented itself unexpectedly. While accessing my laptop for a routine utility payment, my fingers moving mechanically across the keyboard, a bank notification captured my attention. My private savings account, the one preserved through Grandpa's wisdom, revealed an unauthorized access attempt. Serena had attempted to add herself as an authorized user, her name clearly visible in the application field, timestamp from the previous day. The revelation struck me like a physical blow. This wasn't our shared account for household expenses and mortgage payments. This was my personal safety net, untouched by her throughout our 12-year marriage, established on Grandpa's stern counsel about security and devastation following the '87 market collapse. I contacted the bank, maintaining composure despite my shaking hands. The representative verified the attempt with professional detachment. She explained that my credentials had been used, but the modification required a verification call that never reached me. I immediately requested a complete lockdown of the account, protecting every dollar, and reported the incident as potential fraud. The word fraud reverberated in my mind after ending the call. Serena had breached a boundary, not merely searching through our home, but reaching for my independent financial security. Later that day, she arrived home, her heels echoing against the hardwood, briefcase hanging from her shoulder. I waited in the living room, computer closed, the alert seared into my thoughts. I casually mentioned the bank's communication, studying her reaction. She froze momentarily, then released a laugh that shattered the silence like breaking crystal. She flipped her hair back, her eyes reflecting the chandelier's light. She dismissed it as a bank error, her response flowing like water over smooth stones. When I mentioned the specific attempt to access my account, her laughter took on a sharper edge. Moving closer, she rested against the couch and accused me of paranoia. According to her mocking tone, I'd always been excessively cautious. She wielded our 12 years together like a blade, transforming my suspicion into guilt. I remained steadfast, informing her about the now-secured account. Her smile wavered briefly before returning, more rigid than before. Then came that look, an icy, penetrating gaze that cut through me. Gone was the warm expression I'd known, replaced by something predatory, unmasked, like a hunter calculating its strategy. I withdrew to the office after she stormed upstairs, her footsteps thundering with unspoken determination. Later, I discovered a crumpled note in the waste bin, written in her distinctive angular handwriting. It contained details of a Boulder bank branch, a scheduled appointment time, and an unfamiliar name. My stomach clenched. This wasn't a spontaneous act. She had orchestrated it, and that glacial stare suggested she had more planned. The woman I had cherished was vanishing, replaced by someone audacious enough to strike in broad daylight. I gripped the note, its jagged edges pressing into my palm, realizing that locks alone wouldn't protect my assets. The discarded note weighed heavily in my pocket as I circled the dimly lit office, the Denver darkness pressing against the window panes. Serena's earlier Arctic glare persisted, a caution I couldn't dismiss. Her attempt to access my savings wasn't an oversight, but a calculated strategy, and that bolder bank appointment suggested larger schemes. I wasn't dealing with a confused spouse anymore, but an opponent in an unsolicited game. Recognizing I couldn't navigate this alone, I sought assistance. Marisol Vega, a financial advisor known for resolving complex situations, agreed to meet me the following morning at a secluded cafe along Colfax Avenue. Her intense gaze examined the note while I detailed the withdrawals, the garage incidents, and the bank notification. She leaned in, speaking with quiet authority. "This isn't coincidental," she stated, urging me to safeguard my remaining assets. That afternoon, I visited a downtown law office, consulting with Theo Grayson, a slender man possessing keen features and sharper intuition. His expertise lay in personal fraud cases, his desk laden with files of betrayed trust. I presented the evidence: the note, the bank's fraud documentation, and Marisol's evaluation. Theo listened intently, fingers thoughtfully tapping his chin. "We must stay ahead of her," he advised, proposing a dual strategy. Initially, I transfer all funds, both joint and personal, to a new account at a Colorado Springs bank, 70 miles distant, beyond Serena's influence. Additionally, we'd create a decoy, a fake account with sufficient funds to entice her. Marisol concurred, suggesting it should appear authentic, connected to a discoverable card. The following afternoon, I executed the transfers under harsh fluorescent lighting, my signature finalizing the change. At home, I established the bait account, depositing $5,000, linking it to a credit card. I deliberately wrote the details on a notepad, leaving it partially visible in my desk drawer, a spot Serena frequently inspected during my absence. Days passed in suffocating silence. I maintained a routine, coding until late, consuming the meals she prepared with a smile too rehearsed to be genuine. She would softly hum while preparing vegetables, as I observed her hands, contemplating what secrets they held in the darkness. Then, precisely 2 weeks later, my phone vibrated at 3 a.m., rousing me from restless slumber. The banking application illuminated with an alert. The decoy card had been used to purchase 2 round-trip tickets to Miami, totaling $2,300, scheduled for 3 weeks ahead. I examined the details, my pulse racing. The passenger names were Serena Callahan and Kendrick Palmer, an unknown entity. My chest constricted. She'd fallen for the trap, but this transcended mere financial gain. She was orchestrating an escape, excluding me entirely. I crept downstairs, my bare feet meeting the cold floor, and peered through the window blinds. The garage remained unlit, her vehicle absent from the driveway. She departed earlier, presumably when the payment processed. Checking the app again revealed another charge, $400 at a Boulder hotel bar that evening. My thoughts accelerated. She had company, and this Kendrick was decidedly real. I retrieved my laptop, scouring her old correspondence on our shared cloud storage, messages she assumed I'd overlook. A months-old email surfaced, brief and encrypted. "KP says funding's tight. Need a boost soon," it stated, sent to an unfamiliar address. KP, Kendrick Palmer. My trembling fingers researched the name online. A Boulder-based startup founder, his enterprise struggling financially, appeared in a news article. Serena wasn't merely spending. She was investing, using my finances to fuel her schemes. The following morning, she returned, exhaustion evident in her eyes, claiming a client emergency demanded her attention overnight. I acknowledged her explanation, swallowing the deception, while the snare closed further. I implemented another layer, strategically placing a fabricated wire transfer receipt in my briefcase, showing $10,000 to the decoy account, dated the previous day. She would discover it soon, her avarice drawing her deeper. That night, I detected her presence in my office, shuffling papers, her breathing rapid with purpose. I remained motionless, allowing her investigation, knowing each move strengthened my position. The dynamic had shifted. I transformed from prey to predator, commanding the game board. The rustling of documents in my study reverberated long after Serena crept back to her bed, her footsteps dissolving into the Denver darkness. She'd taken the bait, falling deeper into my carefully laid trap, but the Miami tickets and the name Kendra Palmer left me unsettled. This had evolved beyond simple financial theft. I needed clarity, not mere glimpses of truth. The following morning, I arranged a meeting with Carl Hensley, a private investigator at a small diner near Capitol Hill. His weathered features and unwavering demeanor suggested competence, and I provided him with everything: the banking notifications, the damaged note, the cryptic email mentioning KP. Track her movements and uncover her motives, I whispered, my words barely audible above the dining room noise. Carl acknowledged with a nod, promising swift results. I endured the wait, each minute feeling endless, my programming work becoming mechanical as I anticipated the revelations. 4 days passed before Carl discreetly delivered a substantial envelope on a city park bench, the autumn breeze threatening to scatter its contents. Under leaden skies, I examined the documents with trembling hands. Photographs emerged first, showing Serena with a tall, well-groomed man in an expensive suit, sharing laughter at a Boulder rooftop lounge. Another captured them embracing outside a modern office complex, his fingers possessively at her waist. Carl's detailed report identified him. Kendrick Palmer, 35, creator of a Boulder startup hemorrhaging money after a product failure. My insides nodded. The Miami flight dates aligned with the report's findings, revealing a weekend getaway at his oceanfront property. The financial records followed. Serena had diverted $15,000 from our shared account to his business over 3 months, disguised as professional fees through a fake company. She'd exploited my decoy card extensively, including an $1,800 dinner and upscale Cherry Creek Steakhouse just days ago. I examined the messages Carl retrieved from her hidden burner phone. Our usual meeting place, Kendrick messaged with her response, money transferred, more coming. My heart constricted. This wasn't mere infidelity. She was systematically financing her escape, using my resources. Later that evening, she entered our home, sporting a luxury handbag that caught the kitchen lighting. I inquired about it casually. She responded with a confident smile, brushing aside her hair. Something special after winning a difficult case, she declared, placing it prominently on the counter. I displayed the banking application, revealing the $2,100 charge from the decoy card for that exact bag. Her smile vanished, eyes hardening as I presented the evidence: flight confirmations, restaurant charges, bar tabs. She assumed a defensive stance against the counter, arms folded, releasing a measured sigh. She confessed then, her voice devoid of emotion or remorse. Yes, Kendrick and I are together, she declared, her gaze fixed somewhere beyond me. I'm finished with this existence. Jasper, your predictable, sheltered world. He's daring. He embraces challenges. And we're creating something meaningful. She motioned dismissively at our home, her lips twisting in disdain. Did you expect me to remain trapped here indefinitely? When I brought up the financial aspect, the drained joint accounts, the decoy transactions, she released a bitter laugh that echoed through the room. I earned that access, she stated coldly, after years of being the backbone of this marriage. Kendrick requires funding, and I'm facilitating that. My teeth clenched involuntarily. I revealed the truth about the real accounts, secured in Colorado Springs, beyond her reach. The decoy was merely a fraction, I explained, just 4% of our actual savings. Her expression shifted, confidence crumbling as she grasped the reality of her minimal theft. Moving closer, I held her stare. This isn't just about money, I said firmly. You've betrayed our entire foundation. She remained unmoved. File for divorce then, she challenged, reaching for her purse. I'll claim my share and leave. I intercepted her, my voice unwavering. Not so fast, I said, producing a USB drive. Carl had documented her Boulder Hotel rendezvous with Kendrick 2 nights prior, capturing her clear demands. Need another $50K next month, she promised to extract from me. My hands trembled as I played the recording, her words echoing accusingly. She stood paralyzed, then abruptly turned toward the staircase. I blocked her escape, the USB still playing. This ends on my terms, I declared, and she recognized her defeat. By morning, her vehicle was gone, leaving only a note on the counter in her distinctive handwriting. You've won this battle, it stated, but I'll get what I deserve. I crushed the paper, its implications settling heavily. She wasn't finished, but the recording was my protection. I contacted Theo, Grace, and decisively. We proceed now, I instructed, ready to conclude this strategic battle. Kendrick's crumbling venture, her avarice, our broken promises converged in that instant, and I faced the destruction, determined to emerge intact. Serena's hastily scrawled note lay crumpled on the kitchen counter as morning light filtered through the Denver skyline, its bitter words taunting my resolve. Her vehicle was missing, but the USB drive clutched in my palm contained her calculated voice, conspiring with Kendrick Palmer to systematically drain my accounts. I stood amid the ruins of our 12-year union, my determination crystallizing like hardened steel. Theo Grayson received me in his downtown office that morning, the city's silhouette stretching behind his desk. I presented the envelope of evidence: Carl's surveillance photographs, detailed banking records, messages from the burner phone, and the incriminating audio recording. He played the tape, Serena's measured voice promising Kendrick an additional $50,000, and acknowledged the gravity with a solemn nod. "This evidence is bulletproof," he confirmed, reviewing the divorce documentation he'd prepared. The terms were clear. Personal assets remained separate, joint accounts split equally, with no ongoing alimony obligations. I signed deliberately, each stroke of the pen marking the end. Serena returned as dusk approached, her footsteps echoing defiantly through the living room. I waited near the fireplace, the evidence arranged methodically on the coffee table. She dropped her designer bag, eyes darting to the stack, a smirk playing across her features. I extended the divorce papers, maintaining composure. "Sign these," I stated evenly, "and we part ways cleanly." She reviewed the terms, her confident expression faltering at the equitable division and absence of additional compensation. She thrust the papers back, assuming a defensive stance. "I'll contest this," she declared sharply. "You owe me more for my investment in us." I connected the USB to nearby speakers. Her voice filled the space, cold and calculated, plotting with Kendrick. Color drained from her face, fingers clenching as her betrayal played in loops. I revealed the photographs next, capturing her intimacy with Kendrick against Boulder's backdrop, followed by bank records exposing every diverted dollar. She grabbed for the USB, but I withdrew swiftly, maintaining distance. "This reaches law enforcement if you challenge me," I warned, meeting her gaze. "Every fraudulent act, theft, and conspiracy is documented." She hesitated, breath catching, before collapsing onto the couch, surrendering. Minutes later, her signature marked the papers, jagged with suppressed anger. Rising, she fixed me with a final venomous glare. "You'll live to regret this," she spat, snatching her bag and departing dramatically. The door's slam echoed her exit. I secured the lock, feeling months of tension dissolve. Within days, I listed our home, its spaces too haunted by her presence. A quick sale followed, and I packed my life away, heading toward Boise, Idaho, 800 miles northwest. A fresh position awaited, leading a technology team at an environmental energy company, promising new beginnings in a quieter landscape. Weeks later, nestled in my Boise apartment, I scanned headlines over steaming coffee when one caught my attention. Kendrick Palmer's venture had imploded spectacularly, with fraudulent accounting masking substantial debts. Federal agents had stormed his Boulder headquarters, revealing Serena's involvement as a principal investor in the scheme. Media captured her courthouse exit, her signature designer attire replaced by modest clothing, head bowed in disgrace. My heartbeat remained steady. Her ambitious pursuit of wealth had ultimately led to her downfall. Setting my phone aside, I let each coffee sip wash away the remnants of that chapter. Grandpa's wisdom resonated. His counsel about maintaining personal boundaries had proven invaluable when loyalty transformed into betrayal. Sunlight streamed through my new apartment windows as I reclined, contemplating. This conclusion marked a fresh beginning, crafted entirely on my own terms. Serena's intimidation attempts and Kendrick's disgrace had become distant echoes, stripped of their power. The ordeal had tested me severely, but emerged stronger, bearing scars that taught resilience. This journey had stripped away pretenses, leaving me liberated and anchored in unwavering authenticity that I'd never again compromise. Beyond these walls, endless possibilities beckoned, and I stood ready to embrace them, unburdened and complete. The story concludes here. Did this resolution meet your expectations, or did it surprise you? Share your thoughts below. If this narrative resonated with you, please like and subscribe for future stories. Thank you for joining this journey, and we'll meet again in the next tale.